Hey there! Have you been considering hosting a summit? Have you been considering maybe leading a virtual event in the new normal? Well, this video is for you as I just hosted my very first one. I figured that I could share with you the lessons because we're doing it again, but we want to make sure that we don't make the mistakes. And we certainly want to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes. So watch until the end and please subscribe because this channel is for entrepreneurs and marketing teams that want to build brands and monetize them. So if you are and I have never met, I am Jessica Campos, the recovered attorney. And as I told you before, this channel is for entrepreneurs and marketing teams that want to learn how to build brands and monetize them. Let's talk about virtual events. You might want to know, well, is it worth it? Or should I just rather create my event in person and just wait? Well, it's gonna be a hard decision for you because virtual and live events, the best way that I can tell you is that it's not the same, right? So trying to recreate your life experience into a virtual event, it's not gonna be the same. At some point in our event, we had so many technological issues that I needed to step back and realize, wow, if this was a live event, these issues would not have happened because in live, you can always just maybe change the speaker, maybe change the order of a talk, maybe change where people are going to be meeting. And then because people are in person, the communication doesn't really need any other thing than like, hey, let's just come here. So let's just go more organized so I can tell you exactly what happened in my event and how can I share my wisdom so you don't make the same mistakes. So I needed to make the decision really rush because we were just tired of waiting until we were able to do other events. I have been leading a community in Austin of small business owners, and it's been 3 years, and we have hosted over 1,000 people in our accumulated events. Our group right now is at 5,500 people and counting every day. So I felt like responsible for creating an opportunity so that people could come and network. I didn't want to have just the same Zoom because I think at this point everybody is Zoom out. So let's do a summit, okay? The first thing was making the decision on how are you going to host the event. You do need a platform that can help you with communication, with hosting content, with creating the experience where you have the broadband so that that content is not frozen. So we did the research and found that HeySummit, whether, it's a new platform, I would not say I was expecting perfection, but it got a lot of reviews. So we decided to give HeySummit a try. Now, again, we planned the event only with 5 weeks. So that's on us. I would say 50-50 because I really thought I was going to be able to do an in-person event by now. But when we realized, no, that's not going to be possible, even South by Southwest next year, it's happening already online. So that gave me the hint that we needed to make the move and launch this first opportunity of hosting a summit for our community. So HeySummit was a platform that we chose. Now, here's what happened with HeySummit. The tricky part is that you need to understand that this platform does not integrate with Zoom meetings. And I'm going to be saying that one more time so you can understand. You need to have a Zoom webinar account. Zoom meetings and Zoom webinars are not the same. So what is going to happen? You either need multiple licenses to be a host in different names, and that's actually for Zoom a membership that it's thousands of dollars. So scratch that. You do not want that. Now, how can you avoid with HeySummit that problem? Because they can only integrate as we speak with the Zoom webinar integration. So the best way to avoid the mistake that we made, because we found that in the hardest way, we found that the day of the event, when I practice how to be a host for multiple sessions that were happening, and I could not start the meeting. So we needed to reroute the meetings last minute, and we could not do it through Zoom meetings. Now, how can you avoid that? Now in the future, we know the trick. We are going to use Zoom meetings, not Zoom webinars, but those meetings are going to be listed in the communication emails. So we will be able to have the links in those personal emails that the attendees will receive. Another way that we will announce where their room is going to be is on the landing page of that talk. So that will solve our problem for the next time that we do it. But hey, if you're considering HeySummit, just be aware that when you're hosting live conferences, you can only do it through Zoom webinars, which is from all the platforms that they tell you that they can allow you to use. That's the most reliable one. We also tried other platforms like livewebinar.com. Stay away from that. It's very, very difficult to find, it's not intuitive to find everything. Like some of the speakers tried live webinar to present and it was just awful. Another thing that happened is when you are using these platforms, you have to understand that they are built with communications, meaning like series of emails that are going to be sent automatically. So one tip that I would say, turn that off and try to find a way to just take the ownership of those communications, because you are going to make mistakes. People like your speakers might need something, a change last minute. We had dental surgery happening, another speaker that couldn't make it at the time. It was just really difficult to maneuver the last minute changes, and every change was igniting an automated email to all the attendees. Can you imagine? Oh my God, by the time when it was like 2 p.m. in day number 1, many people had emailed me, please stop emailing me. So turn that thing off. The other lesson that we learned the hardest way is that HeySummit has a very secure way to gate your content. So we didn't find any option until 5 days after the event ended that if we were making changes to access that different tickets would have, we needed to reset the entire summit and the ticket and the pass and the access. And that was a huge stress. So the way that we will fix it is for the next summit that we do, we certainly want to avoid the multiple tickets. We want to keep things as simple as we can. And definitely you want to avoid links. You want to keep things very simple for people to find where to connect. That's going to be super important as a modification going forward. Yeah, we learned the hard way that we needed to reset the entire tickets, and that's why people were cleaning cookies, going incognito, and that still would not work. And lastly, one lesson that I will share with you is you have to own your mess, and you have to be clear and transparent with the people and say, hey speakers, this is what's happening. Hey attendees, this is what's happening. This is what's preventing us from giving you the best. We have to understand and be empathetic with them and understand, like some of them, they separated the day to be with us, actually 2 days to be with us. So they are frustrating, and having that opportunity where you as a leader show up for them and solve the issue. And so I would say make sure that you have somebody that can be the face of your brand and take ownership in case that something happens. I mean, I have our sponsors who are very thankful for the way that we handled the multiple hazards that we encountered. But hey, at the same time, they knew that this was going to be our test. And I wish I could have tested the event maybe a week earlier, but we didn't have the multiple talks ready. I mean, some of the speakers were still getting ready for their talk. Again, this happened in such a rush that the fact that we got close to 300 attendees in just 5 weeks, I think is pretty amazing. So we are going to do it again. Now we have that summit going evergreen. There are CEO tickets, which allows them to just watch the content all the way until December. So we have new students learning many things, and they can communicate with the speakers. I think that's pretty awesome. So moving forward for next year, because we're not going to do another summit this year, but for next year, we are certainly creating a brainstorm of ideas of what we want to have on that live event, because live events are going to be happening. If you were expecting like attending to big conventions, that's not going to be happening, at least I will say, oh my God, maybe 9 months from now, if even. And this video, I'm filming it in October. So yeah, maybe in October next year. But for a big conference, sometimes you need a year to prepare for a conference. So by now, it's going to be very tricky to plan a conference not knowing what's going to happen. So for 2021, we do need to embrace that live networking experience and just roll with it. I'm super curious to know if you hosted a virtual event, what did you find out? And if you're planning on hosting more virtual events, what are your tips to keep your audience happy? What are your tips to overcome any obstacles? And I feel like if we help each other to find what are the obstacles, you can just prepare better, because let's just face it, the platforms that we are using, they are to the top. They don't even have customer service 24/7 for us. So we need to help each other to figure this new normal and new waters of hosting virtual big conferences. Yeah, just wanted to share that with you. I'm looking forward to seeing the comments. And if you came to Connections 2020, I will say yes, thank you so much for your support. You navigated that new normal with us, and we promise you that the next one is going to be super awesome. So stay tuned.